100 science fiction books, 48 down, 52 to go. I think I should read them all. Hi everyone, I'm June and welcome to my channel Livermer. I've just finished my first book for the Sci-Fi 52, A Reading Odyssey, which is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Be aware that I might be sharing some minor spoilers in case you haven't read the book. Let's start by saying that I was not inclined to read this book if it weren't for the Sci-Fi 52 challenge, and I think my intuition was right, but let's talk about this book. The Handmaid's Tale was written by Margaret Atwood in 1985. The story is set in a dystopian world. In the Republic of Gilead, the main character is Offred, and she is an important person, but not in the way you might imagine. In a world where birth rates are declining, fertile women like Offred have an important role in procreating babies, but not for themselves, for wealthy couples who can afford to have these handmaids. All of this is under strict religious rules that control everyone, and those who resist face death. Nolite te bastardes carborundorum, which seems to be Latin, or it sounds like Latin, meaning don't let the bastards grind you down, becomes Offred's motto, who, against adversity, still has hope. The commander and his wife, Serena Joy, are the owners of Offred in a way, and use her to procreate a child. Offred is accepting this new reality, but always hopes for a better future and remembers the better past, in which we meet Moira, her friend. Here we find a dramatic contrast between Offred, who is quieter and more conservative, and her friend Moira, who was a rebel and a lawbreaker until this new regime started controlling the population. So Moira comes to Offred's memories as a role model who could inspire Offred to fight against adversity, but not even Moira can escape this new reality. The Republic of Gilead is under strict religious rules that try to control sexual activity, which is only for those who deserve it or have the money. So the point of increasing the population doesn't make sense. Controlling it only restricts it and therefore diminishes it. There are three themes I would like to highlight. 1. The loss of identity, and I'm not talking only about Offred, who is not free anymore and has to adjust to this new reality where she is just an object, but also about the rest of the characters who lose most of their freedoms. 2. The power of the male gender over the female gender, but as you will see, it's not quite like that. It's true that women are mere objects, but they are also taught how to act and behave, which in some way gives them some control over men. And 3. The use of religion as a tool to oppress the population, which is explained by the fear of death that moves the characters to act the way they do. The Handmaid's Tale has many similarities with other dystopian books like 1984, in which we see that the government has total control of the population. The Handmaid's Tale doesn't have that technological component to control and guard the people through cameras and microphones, but by controlling the language, movement, and the way they dress. This is why colors like red, black, and green play an important role. Honestly, I didn't want to read this book because I had apprehensions about it, and I was right. I didn't enjoy the book. I'm not saying that it's a bad book. I like the writing style. As a diary, written or recorded by Offred, it was extremely descriptive, but not in words as adjectives, but in sentences and descriptions of actions, which is not a problem, but sometimes describing everything that Offred is doing seems a bit tiring, just a bit. I think the whole story was interesting. I was always waiting for the next thing to happen, waiting for that action that would break this strict series of rules, and knowing that it would bring many problems to the main characters. Certainly, I didn't like the main theme, which is the use of these women solely to procreate children, and I definitely didn't like the ending. Let's say it has two endings. One that is an open ending, and another that tries to answer all your doubts about the open ending. But I found both unsatisfying, and that is one of the reasons why I really don't enjoy reading dystopian books. They leave me with an empty feeling because no matter what, they always resemble in some way or another our own reality. But what do you think? Can it be compared with our own reality, with our own society? If you know that dystopian books always deal with oppressive worlds, with characters who are always suffering from a lack of freedom, and with endings that sometimes feel empty and disappointing, maybe this book is not for you. But as one of those classics of literature, maybe you could give it a try. Now I can erase one book from the Sci-Fi 52 list. I hope you have enjoyed this video and also hope to see you in the next one.